Hey everybody, welcome back. So today's video is going to be a little bit of a rant and a ramble. I have some things that are just on my mind that I wanted to share or talk about. And I figured while I was doing that, we would take a look at, do a side by side comparison of the Sacred Symbols by Marcella Kroll. So this is the original edition, I believe. I don't know, I can't find really much information on it, but I think this is like her original release. And then this is obviously the mass market one that is readily available and is the modern sacred symbols that you can get your hands on. I am a huge fan of Marcella. I think she is fabulous. I really honestly, there's not very many people that I look up to or that inspire me when it comes to the world of metaphysical stuff. But she is like, there's just so many things about her that remind me of myself. And it's just really nice to see a person who's I feel very aligned with, if that makes sense. But I really do enjoy her. I follow her on a bunch of her social media, different stuff like that. And I really enjoy working with her decks as well. I believe at this point I have almost all of them. I don't have the newest one that was just released. I do have a lot of her indie decks though. I tend to get them more when they're at their indie stage as opposed to when they've gone mass market. But I don't know. That's just me. That's the way I am. But I figured we would take a look at these and flip through them while I just say what I have to say. Now, what I'm going to talk about is strictly based on my experiences and the things that have happened to me or things that I've fallen upon. They are solely my opinion. They might not resonate with you, and if they don't, that's fine and it's okay. They don't have to, but they're just my views and opinions, and I just want to kind of voice them. And I think it's more about just getting them off my chest because they're things that have been kind of sitting and dwelling with me that just really quite have irritated me. um as a lack of better words, I guess that doesn't even really irritate me, but they're annoying, right? So I mean, I guess irritation is another word for annoying, but it's annoying. And what I'm going to talk about today is what I like to call tarot reader etiquette. And that's what I like to refer to it as because I really honestly don't know what else to call it. But it really honestly just comes down to manners and etiquette and different things like that, right? So I'm going to grab these two decks. We're going to slowly start to flip through them and I'll say what I have to say. So my one deck here's a little beat up. It's definitely been loved and used. But it's funny how similar in size they are because I have her Nature's Nurtures, and that's like a little mini, like bridge size. I wouldn't even consider it bridge size. It's really small. So it's like a mini deck size. And I believe what she just released, I believe are big oracle cards. I haven't seen, I don't have that one, that mass market in person. I just have the indie, and I think it's awesome. And I really love the artwork. And I'm kind of sad that she changed it, or that it was changed. Maybe she didn't change it. It was changed for the mass market, and it kind of sucks because I really like the artwork of on the indie. All right, so anyways, I'm just gonna, like I said, flip through these, take our time, look at them. Obviously, titles have changed, artwork has changed. There is two more cards in this deck than there is in this one. I don't know. They're pretty similar though. Not bad. I find this one's a lot more useful for like reading with clients and different things like that, where this one I feel is much more personal. So like I tend to use this one for myself. I did do a reading the other day though with a client. Did pretty well, but I feel like this one's a little bit more better. It's more open, and I think it's better to do for clients as opposed to this one, but that's just my opinion. So to give you guys a little bit of background before I start flipping through things, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background on myself because I haven't really shared much about who I am or what I do or anything like that. On my 15th birthday, I was gifted a tarot card deck. It came in like a metaphysical, like box kit kind of thing. It had majors only, Marseille. It had runes. It had I Ching coins, and I believe that was it, from what I can remember. It was a friend of mine at the time that had gifted this to me, and it was the first time I had ever even really heard of tarot or any of these things. So this kit was like the gateway into this world for me. It might have been my 14th birthday, but I'm pretty sure it was my 15th birthday. If I remember correctly, it was my 15th birthday. Now, that just led me down the path of reading oracles, tarot, all of these different things. So I have been doing this for a really, really long time. Obviously, there was a moment in time in my life, there was a gap of a couple years where I did more of a human job than my soul job. And I had actually stepped away from everything metaphysical. It hardly even existed in my life for a couple years. And then I got massively hurt at my place of work, and it forced me to take time off as my body tried to heal itself. And I found myself laying in bed staring at my old tarot card decks full of dust just sitting on the bottom of a shelf. And I don't know, I just, something sparked inside of me and I went and picked them back up, and then that's it. They've been in my hands since, and that was, I'm going to say, close to 10 years ago. So they've been back into my life every single day for a long time now. There's not a day goes by, I feel like most people that are into this, that I don't touch a deck. Whether it's in the evening, whether it's in the morning, whether it's throughout the day shooting a video, whether it's doing a reading for my client of some sorts, they're always in my life and they're always being touched and being used. Up until a few years ago, I only had a few, maybe under 10 decks. And the last few years, I've fallen into the trap of purchasing this deck, purchasing this one, going after this one, getting this one. And just, I'm going to say within the last year or two, I've realized that that doesn't really work for me. Yeah, they're cool and whatever, but it's like this like, I'm sorry, my cats are running around like maniacs behind me. You guys might be able to hear their feet. I don't know. But it's become to me like collecting cards. Like, do you know when you were kids and you'd buy a pack and there'd be a stick of gum in it and you would get like a bunch of cards or whatnot? Like, to me, it became like that. Like, they became more like just card collections than they actually became tools. And that really didn't sit well with me. So I've changed my practice and I've changed the way that I do things. And I'm actually moving a lot of stuff on that just doesn't resonate with me and I shouldn't have bought in the first place because they're totally not even down my path. But these right here, this is totally works for me. So what I'm going to talk about now is etiquette. Fast forward a whole bunch of years, I now have opened up a business where I give tarot card readings professionally. I teach tarot. I teach spiritual development. I have Reiki mentorships that are very, very popular. There's a lot of different stuff that happens here. I've stepped into my soul job. And I'm no longer doing my human job, I'm doing a soul job. And like I said, like I do a lot of readings. The one thing that never ceases to amaze me is the misconceptions and the misconceptions that exist around tarot and what it is and what it can do and how you do it and what it's about. And a lot of people, they automatically go to, it's a psychic reading, and I'm like, it's not. It's an intuitive reading. There's tarot card readers out there that aren't psychic, and you don't have to be psychic to be a tarot card reader. So it's not a psychic reading. Psychic readings cost hundreds and hundreds of dollars. If I'm charging you $50 for a reading, it's an intuitive tarot card reading. I say or I read what is in the cards in front of me, right? Yes, I have other skills. Yes, I have psychic abilities. Yes, I have mediumship skills. Sometimes they come into play. But usually, if you have scheduled a tarot card reading, I'm just going to read you what I see in the cards in front of me, right? What I see in the cards in front of me. And this is what we're going to talk about. Nothing reeks more of amateur than when I sitting down to do a tarot card reading that someone has paid me to do, and I'm telling them what I see or what's coming forward to me or what my guides are talking about, and they turn around and say, well, that's not how I read that card. I see it like this, this, and this, and this. What are you doing here? If you're not, you've paid me for my reading. You've paid me for my interpretation of the cards. You've paid me for my stuff. Why are you now stealing my reading, hijacking my reading, and telling me that that's not what that means, that you read that card like that? That's great that you read that like that. But for me, this is my intuitive hit for today, and this is what it's telling me. So that one thing right there that drives me absolutely up the wall. And the saddest part is this has happened quite a few times to me, where people will actually be like, oh, well, that card means this to me. And then they'll start to argue with what I'm telling them and trying to reaffirm what they're feeling, but that they think the cards are saying to them. And they argue it with me. And, well, that's not what that means. That's not how I see it. Well, that's not blah, 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 blah. I don't know why this happens to me. It doesn't happen a lot, but it happens enough where I feel like I need to say something about it. And it's like, yes, you bought tarot cards. Yes, you've read a couple books. Yes, you spent some time, understanding these cards and what they mean to you. But you've paid me for my intuition. You've paid me for my reading. So sit back, have an open mind, and listen to what I am saying to you. If it doesn't resonate with you, that's fine. It doesn't have to. But don't sabotage my reading. Don't throw me off. And don't bully my reading. And I feel like that's what it is it's like when someone does that, it just, everything shuts down. My guides literally pack up and leave the space because they're like, yep, no, not dealing with this. And then I'm sitting there staring at you with now no longer a connection into my source, no longer a desire to even read for you. Because to me, there is nothing ruder than somebody, like I said, hijacking somebody else's reading. I am a huge supporter of my trade. Huge supporter of my trade. If I go to a market or I go somewhere and I see a tarot card reader and I have the extra money, I am totally going to go sit down and have a reading by that person because I support my trade. I support my craft. I support the fact that that person is brave enough and confident enough to sit down and do readings for the public and be like, this is me, this is what I do, and let their freak flag fly, right? So like I'm going to support that. I'm going to help that person. I 100%, like I go, there's a psychic festival or psychic convention that comes to my area every year. And I go and I pay for a session because the only way these things stay in this world, the only way this continues to be something for somebody, a source of income, extra money, whatever, is if people support it. And the people who are going to support it are the people who embrace it, the people who understand it, the people who enjoy it, right? Because a lot of the time, the randoms, the people who don't know really what's going on, they don't get it. And they're really confused. And they're just like, this doesn't make any freaking sense. I don't understand any of this. That's bullshit. I don't believe that person. You'll get a lot of negative opinions and views usually. Some people are open enough, but not it's far less. I mean, maybe it's the area that I live in, which is very possible, but I just find that like we've got to look out for each other. We've got to support each other. We've got to support our trade. And I'm huge in supporting my trade. So when I go out there and I support another tarot card reader and I sit down, first of all, I don't even tell them. I don't even tell them that I read tarot. Because the minute you sit down and you're like, oh, I'm a tarot reader too, it becomes competition. It becomes competitive. And it usually knocks that person off their game. And I don't want to do that. I want them to give me a reading. They don't need to know what I do or I don't do. So I don't sit down and go, and I don't even tell them who I am. If they ask me what I do for a living, I say I'm a small business owner. That's it. I don't tell them that, I run a metaphysical practice of spiritual development and different things. Like, I don't do that because, like I said, that sometimes affects people's confidence, and I don't, that's not what we're here for. So I sit down and I listen to what they have to say. I let all of my views and opinions go right out the window. I sit down, I enjoy the reading. I love the different perspective, the different take, the different information that comes forward. I absolutely adore it. And I have no reason to hijack their reading because I paid for their reading, not mine. I can go home and do my own for free. I don't, it's about support. It's about having a different perspective. It's about hearing a different opinion, thinking outside of the box, having a different view in on a situation. And to me, that is so important. So when someone shows up at my business, at my table, and start telling me, well, I don't see it like that. I see it like this. That's not right. That they must mean this. Blah, blah. Like, it's just, I'm ready to just pack up my deck and say, there's the door. See you later. It's so diminishing. It's so rude. And I don't know if it's because I have a lot of fresh people here. Like, I have a lot of people who have just stepped into this world and they come here and it's like their doors are blowing wide open and this whole experience is new to them and they're exciting, and they get a deck and they start reading and they're doing Reiki, and they start dabbling into the metaphysical world. I don't know if it's because of that this happens a lot more than it should to me. Maybe it's my personality. Maybe it's my lesson or my challenge. I'm not really sure. But nothing is worse than when somebody says to you, well, that's not what that card means to me. It means this. And then they literally start taking over your reading. And I've had it happen. Like a few readings ago, a couple weeks ago, I had that exact thing happen from someone who have come here, who has learned here, came here, was very dismissive of my wishes or the way that I, wanted things read, my disclaimer, the things that I asked. And when she sat down with her and her friend, she pretty much hijacked my reading because she didn't like what I was saying, because she was closed to the answer she was getting, because it wasn't aligned with what she felt was what she wanted to hear. She obviously was not open to the message and just started hijacking the reading and was like, no, that doesn't mean that. That means this to me. Oh, no, that's not this. This is this. And like, I didn't even know what to say or do. And like, I can have a really bad temper sometimes. Like, honestly, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm like perimenopausal or premenopausal or whatever you want to say. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. But I've always kind of had a spark. Like, I've always been a little spicy. And I gotta really try hard to keep my temper, because the more and more it happens, the more pissed I get. And I would love to have some positive comments. So if you have any advice, or not even advice, but just opinions on this, positive opinions. I really don't want to listen to negative opinions. But if you've got something positive to say about this, or something like, if this has happened to you in the past in your readings, let me know in the comments. Please write something down, because I'm really interested in knowing if other people experience this. Because, or like if it's like a me thing, like an energy thing, right? I don't know. It's just, to me, it's like, it's rude. Like, have some manners. Learn tarot etiquette. If you're gonna go and pay someone for a reading, listen to their reading. Be open enough to hear what they're saying. And if you're not, what are you even doing there? Right? Like, I don't know. That's just my opinion. It's a hard one. It really is. I don't give readings for free. I I do not give readings for free. I feel like the energetic exchange needs to be equal. That's one thing that I teach everybody that comes here. There has to be an energetic exchange. It needs to be level. It needs to be fair. It needs to be balanced. So by me giving you a free reading, what does that do for me? Nothing. That's just taking from my energy. It's taking from my knowledge. And then there's no energetic exchange. And whether that energetic exchange is a favor or a gift or money or a coffee or a tea, whatever you decide is the energetic exchange is what it is. I do this as a living. My energetic exchange is money. I have spells in place. I have different grids in place. There needs to be a money exchange in order for me to feel like paid, for it to be an energetic balance, for it to be fair and square, right? And even though somebody has paid me for my reading, when they hijack my reading, it's like literally going like yoink and taking that money back away. Because at that moment in time, I'm like, why did I even take this person's money? Why this has not benefited me. This is, yes, it's given me financial, it's giving me money, it's giving me finances, but it's not energetically equal as far as the exchange, the flow, the balance in the knowledge in the system, right? Like, I don't know. It's just, it's what it is. And so, like I said, I don't do readings for free. People out there do them for free. That's fine. And the number one thing I hear is, oh, well, I don't feel like I've been doing this long enough to be charging. Well, if you haven't felt like you've been doing it long enough to be charging, then, like, I don't know, I feel at that time it's a confidence thing. Because if you feel confident enough to start reading cards for the public and for people, then there should be some type of energetic exchange happening. Whether that's finances, like I said, whether that's money, whether that's a coffee, a tea, someone doing the dishes, someone doing laundry, someone repairing something for you. There needs to be some type of energetic exchange. Otherwise, you're just ripping off your own system. You're just taking. You have someone literally taking from you, and there's no equal balance. So you need to set that energetic exchange for yourself. But even on here, like, I have a really hard time. I set up a membership space for a little bit, and then I was like, no. Like, I do this professionally. I'm not going to do $5 readings. I'm sorry. I'm not going to do, because my time, my knowledge, my effort, my energy is worth more than that. I don't I don't know. I don't know how else to say it. And I'm not trying to sound like snobby or anything like that. It's just, I've learned my value. I've learned how to exist in this world. I've learned how to take my soul job and turn it into something that I can live off of, that provides for me, right? That's not just a part-time fun little thing. Like, this is my full-time job. This is what I do. So it's I don't know. There needs to be something different. And part of me feels that YouTube has washed tarot as a profession out and has made people, has flooded the industry, right? And has made people feel that everybody and anyone can do it, which they can. However, you need to learn it. And anyone can learn, anyone can read tarot. Anyone. You don't have to have psychic abilities. You don't have to, having a good source or a tap in or connection into your guides or your intuition is really obviously important, right? But I don't know. I just feel like this sabotaging and this hijacking, I don't even say it does sabotage, but like this hijacking of a reading is so rude. So rude. And I mean, obviously, maybe these people are just uneducated on the subject or just don't know, right? They have no idea or aren't realizing what they're doing. But it's a very amateur thing. Very amateur thing. Because if you truly supported the trade, if you truly supported your fellow tarot card reader, if you really honestly were part of this tribe, you would not hijack someone's reading and you would not knock them off of their source, off of their connection by being like, oh, well, that's not what that means to me. It means this. And if you're not open enough to hearing a different view or opinion, then don't get a reading, right? Stay at home in your own space, pull your own cards, journal, do whatever it is that you need to do or whatever, but don't go and rock somebody else's boat. Like I don't know. I don't know. This is what I'm saying. It's going to turn into a rant, and I'm probably repeating the same thing over and over and over. But it really, really irritates me, and it's something that I have to figure out what to do about. Do I shut down the reading? Do I say to the person, "Hey, that's really quite rude." Like I don't really know how to handle it. I have a disclaimer which I think I'm going to go back over and I'm going to reword it and maybe somehow figure out how to put that in there. And yes, I have disclaimers. I'm insured. I'm an insured tarot card reader. Because another thing that a lot of people don't realize is you can get sued. You can get your freaking pants sued off of you from a reading. So every time you do a reading and you're just doing it or what, like, you need to have insurance. You need to have protection. I am a 100% insured person. Any reading I do is insured. I am covered. I don't have to worry about much at all because at the end of the day, a lot of people don't realize this, but you can get sued from a tarot card reading. So I have insurance and I have disclaimers because I'm going to legally protect myself and everything that I've worked really hard to achieve. So I don't know, like, I mean, maybe people just don't think of that aspect either. You need to have insurance, right? I mean, if you're just if you're just popping up at some wellness market and you're not even under your real name and you disappear just as fast as you appeared, sure, maybe you don't have to worry about insurance that way. But I don't know. I've known a couple people who have gotten sued pretty good for doing the same kind of stuff and not having insurance in place. So I don't know. It's a crazy world, I guess, right? And then these are the two cards that are extra, the Divine Masculine and the Magic card. But there you have it. So I don't know. That's my ramble and my rant. And maybe this will help someone. Maybe this will put things into view for somebody else. Maybe you've done this and don't even realize that you've done it. But it's not. It's really not cool. Like mind your tarot manners, right? Have some tarot etiquette. And not even just tarot. Like anything. Like if somebody paid to come and get a mediumship session with me and they were like, "Oh no, I don't think that person's here. I think it's this person." Well, what are you even doing here? What did you even pay me for? Like I don't get it. So that's my ramble. And I feel really irritated by it. Like I don't The minute it happens, it completely knocks me off my game, and I'm just like, what the frick? And it irritates the crap out of me. Like, honestly, it really does. It makes me so angry, and just like, it hurts. Like, and I think that's why I get so angry, because it actually hurts me. It hurts my feelings. And I'm just like, why are you even here? Like, why would you do that to me? You're gonna sit there and tell me that you read tarot, and then you're gonna sit there and tell me what those cards mean to you? Then why are you here? Like, what are we doing? I don't know. I feel like it's strange. I'm gonna pull a card. And like I said, this is obviously just a rant and a ramble, and it's my opinion, and it's based on my experiences and what has happened to me. So, I mean, you guys out there might have not even experienced this. Someone might not even know what I'm talking about, right? Past life, eh? Maybe it is a past life problem. Maybe it's a past life thing, right? Maybe it comes from another life. Maybe I'm having this treatment because of another life. Maybe I need to do some past life work, right? I mean, who knows? But I don't know. It's frustrating and annoying. And after that, like, after someone does that to me, you're not gonna get a good reading at that point, because at that point I'm like, really? Then, like, what are we even doing, right? Good fortune. Pyramid and good fortune. Look at that. Beautiful. Both of these decks are amazing. Like I said, I would do this one with my clients, because I feel like it gets good keywords. It's really straightforward. It's awesome. And then this one here, like I said, I feel like this is really quite personal. I spend personal time with this one. I really do. But I did use it. I have used it a couple times with clients. So I don't know, maybe the other thing, sorry, I'm going to say right now, the other thing I've thought about doing is getting decks that, like, if I brought in a Marseille, like, I read with a Rider Waite, right? I read with a Rider Waite because everybody knows it. Even people who don't do tarot, even people who aren't in this world, still know what a Rider Waite is. They still have seen those images. They still recognize those things, right? So I use a Rider Waite, one, because I feel that it's good for clients. It's a friendly, gentler delivery on information. So I always use my Rider Waite. But then I start thinking to myself, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe that's my problem right there. Maybe I should be using like a Marseille or something that, like, people have no idea what the hell that card even is, because they do not recognize that deck. And then that would kind of maybe shut that down, right? Maybe that would do it. But then that's a lot of effort on my half to get comfortable with and pick a deck that I feel I can do that with, right? So I don't know. I don't know what to do about it. I have a couple, like I said, a couple ideas, like changing it out to decks that maybe aren't as recognizable, things like that. I may be adding in a little bit of wordage into like my disclaimer, maybe making that, setting that forward. But the reason why I picked Marcella's decks to look at, one, because I don't think there has been any side-by-sides done by them. I mean, maybe these decks do somewhere on YouTube have a side-by-side, but I don't think so. So I wanted to do that. But another thing is if you follow Marcella on Instagram, you would know a few months ago, I think it was about a few months ago, she needed to release a form that you have to fill out before you even get a reading with her, to even make sure that you're a good fit for her to read, because of these exact same issues. Because of people not being open to the message that's coming through, not capable of understanding a different view or opinion or a different perspective. And she herself has had to develop like a questionnaire that you have to fill out in order to even get a reading done by her now. Because I believe she has ran into this same bullshit. And nothing is more disheartening and more crushing than when you are so excited. Like, I get so excited. It's like Christmas morning when somebody books a reading with me. I get so pumped. I am so excited. And I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And I love to sit down and to connect and to communicate and have the conversations that need to take place. And like, I need to ask you questions. You need to ask me questions. There needs to be a flow. There needs to be a verbal exchange between us. You need to be part of it. This is a session. This is us sitting down and energetically connecting and tapping into the source and seeking answers for you. There needs to be communication. There's nothing worse than someone sitting on the other side of my table from me like a rock, going, because they don't want to give me any type of knowledge, any type of upper hand on it. They think that by having a conversation with me and telling me that they had something go down with their mother, or they had something happen with their brother, or they're having marital issues, that it then gives me the ability to rip them off and get in and give them false information. No, you need to be part of this. This is an appointment. This is an exchange. Are you going to go sit in front of a doctor because you have a problem and they're going to ask you questions and be like, maybe. I don't know. Well, you should know. Like, that's not how it works. There needs to be, when you're sitting there closed like that, that means you're not open. That means that there's nothing coming from you. You have walls up, you have blocks around you. And that means that our reading is now done because you're not even open to it in the first place. So I don't know. It's crazy. It's just a crazy world out there, I guess. And it seems to get worse. Like when I first started doing readings, people were, and maybe it's an age thing, I don't know. But I really honestly think it's just the telling of the times. A long time ago, people were so open and people would just laugh and talk and communicate, and it would just make a reading flow so amazing. I don't know. It's frustrating. But it is what it is. So I'm gonna leave that right there. Today is one of my days that I'm closed, so it's my day off, and I figured I'd shoot a video because it's been a little bit since I've done one, and I figured I'd get this off my chest. So if you're out there and you're supporting our trade, thank you. But be open enough to hear another perspective and don't hijack someone's reading. It is so mean. It's just not a nice thing to do. I know we're coming upon eclipse season and all of that stuff. Anyways, deep breaths in, relax. I've now released what I've had to say. Let it ripple out there between, through the YouTube world. And I wish everybody a wonderful week, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe.